You guys seen Grayson Waller? You got that Dusty Cup later? Kick ass, man. Somebody hit my music.
Fuck you, PrizePicks! Fuck you, PrizePicks!
But I've had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks! All again, man, I hate enough! Fuck you, PrizePicks! My whole clique is at the fucking wall! Fuck you, PrizePicks! Population, we are not the same! Fuck you, PrizePicks! Get to win and take everything! Logging in, make my picks, I'm about to get this red. It makes me harder than Candace Parker giving me head. Rage said if I don't win, then I'ma come pick you up. Carpool into the bridge, if we a fam, then we all jump. Becky on the hope, she rolls her knees or ends up dead. Whatever it takes, I'm trying to make this money with my friends. WNBA season, so much free you won't believe. Join the Discord, you can pay a top support and more. At least I'm kidding, we really winning the ghost of the industry. Johnny and Clyde, they don't want the smoke, we taking all their money. Ain't no selling now. Population, we are not the same, we do this every day now. Everybody say, fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks.
But I've had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks. You can keep your rotten taco. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Bobby Johnny, that's your motto. Fuck you, PrizePicks. And if you really wanna win, fuck you, PrizePicks. Come and rock with population.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
And here we go.
Yeah.
And here we go. Welcome to the Balking Dead, fellas, where you know what time it is. It's that time to make a little bit of money. It is Monday, and we do have a super small card, but we have a super packed show. As we called in the big guns today, as we will start the show with Ribeyes with Mike, and then Noli knows the man for known making unders great again is going to jump in to talk Astros and Mariners, as well as the Padres and Giants. So kick back, hit that like button, as well as subscribe if you haven't, and let's get to the monies. This show is sponsored by W. It's a clean energy powder with no come down to your day. And by going to W.com, you will get 10% off your first order by using the best promo code on God's green earth. If you haven't already, do me a favor, smash that like button, as well as put in that hashtag BBPubbin in your best bet, and I will get to them at the end of the show. On Mondays, we normally have hit and run with LJ, but work took the man away from us today. But have no fear, the bullpen phone still works in our last week of the MLB season, and we had to call in the last Megalodon living, the man I'd let bang both of my baby's moms, shit, at the same time. And I'm talking a man who don't eat white meat. You might know him as Mike, but on this show, it's Ribeyes with Mike. Yeah.
I didn't want salmon! I said it 4 times! Wedding is horseshit.
Yeah. Sharpie had a terrible camera view. Hopefully I just fixed it and I didn't straight shoot it too far off right now as
You're good.
yeah. All right. Sorry, I didn't fix it prior to the show. Let's get into a little baseball. Super shitty card. I know you weren't planning on it, but I kind of gave you a heads up last night that I was going to need you. I didn't know LJ was calling in until this morning, so then I really fucking needed you. So hopefully we can still get us a little bit of that monies today, you know?
I think we got some spots here. You know, a tricky card. Only 3 games, right? So we're going to really have to thread the needle to get that money tonight. But I think we've got a couple of over spots, and another game I think is a strong underlook that I know you guys will talk about shortly. But let's dive in, man. Let's get right in here. Let's roll the sleeves up. I'm not even wearing sleeves. I'm ready just to crank the bookie over the head. We fired off a terrific Sunday night stream. Got some cash on this Arizona game, and I'm trying to keep it going as we get ready for the NFL. But it's baseball season still, and we can't leave those dollars on the table. They got to get to our bankrolls. Let's do it, man. Let's start with this Rangers-Angels game. Rangers-Angels.
Let's get right to it. That's probably the game to attack, as I'm not talking that game, which means I don't like those pitchers. So let's probably talk some Rangers.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. So the Angels are just in a disarray right now, right? Their lineup's been crushed and decimated. Their season's clearly shot. The Ohtani news is kind of beyond us now, and we're just looking at kind of what's left of the slim pickings when it comes to an offensive lineup. But I do think this game shows us an opportunity for runs. That's the first game I wanted to start with. And I'm going to go right to the boo-boo position, the 4-hole for the Texas Rangers and our guy, Adolis Garcia. He's got 4 at-bats out here against Sandoval. The reason I want to target this Texas team, first and foremost, coming off a great weekend, the bats are starting to heat back up again for Texas. And if you look at Sandoval, you look at recent matchups, Sandoval has been a gas can. There's no question about it. The thing with this guy here is when he faced the Texas Rangers, he only made it through 2 whole innings, right? So he had 2 1/3, I believe, innings that he got in there with 4 earned runs. He's been leading major leagues with a walk rate in double digits as well. There's 2 things he doesn't do well. One of them is pitch, and the other one's keep runs off the board. So when it comes to a spot that I want to try to take advantage of, I love that 4-hole. When you got a guy that does a lot of walking, you can certainly see him put these batters on base, and that's the key for the ribeye game. Semion's in front of him. Corey Seager, of course, is out there in front of him as well. Corey Seager is a spot that I kind of wanted to get into the numbers, but as I started picking it apart, I saw that his experience against Sandoval, lefty, not very strong. He's only an 0.71 batting average, 14 at-bats. He's only got 1 hit. But again, when it comes to the walking perspective, he's a guy that you have to show respect to and very likely could be on base in front of Josh Jung. And then there's our guy in that boo-boo spot, Adolis Garcia. And here's the thing. It's a price. It's a price at plus 180 to start the day off and get the card here. I think this is a great look for, again, all the aforementioned reasons. Sandoval's certainly trying to recover. He's at home as well, but you can only do so much out there when you got hot bats. And this guy's one of the best in the business, leads the Rangers in a number of hitting categories. And at 180, give me that ribeye. You got to take advantage of Adolis Garcia for plus 180.
Man, plus 180 sounds like it's something that I'm going to have to get in on at the end of the day, bro. I mean, if it ain't 380, she ain't a lady, bro. But, you know, this is ribeyes at the end of the day. Hey, and speaking of the last time you were on here, that fucker Diaz had the only ribeye opportunity for Colorado that whole fucking game. They were no hit the whole game until the 9th inning, bro. Josh Hader gave up the hit. There was a guy on second in the 9th, bro, and Diaz was up the bat. I was like, come on, you fuck. Come on, you fuck. Come on. He was like plus fucking 230 that day, bro. And the fact that he even had a chance at the 1 RBI opportunity in all 9 innings was worth my fucking money that night. I'll tell you that. I was on Snell strikeout. So we can get to the next game you're on. But yeah, I was just, man, it was worth it. It was worth the ride.
You know, that's the thing, you know, the high risk, but high return as well. And that's all you can ask for, especially in the 9th innings, to get that guy back up there, right? I mean, that's the hope. It's hope of all hope. The score doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that your guy gets that last at bat. And we've had a number of walk-off opportunities that have cashed for us. That was a big price, though. We took a big swing. I think he was even up around 300, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it might have been something crazy, bro. It was 300. It was 300. I was like, this is a home run prop. And the fucker he had the only opportunity. Oh my God.
You know, but again, when you cash 2 out of 4, you're still going to be in the black and have a positive day out of it. So speaking of a positive day, I got to roll over Astros Mariners game here right now. Live look at the park shows that there's some rain in the forecast. It's a chilly, typical Northwestern fall day right now. They're looking at about 60 degrees currently. Which I expect will only continue to fall as we move closer into the evening. Precipitation's high, so is the humidity. The wind, however, is blowing out kind of out to left field at almost 20 miles an hour. So there's enough wind for this to be a factor for me. I do expect this to be a playoff type of game where things are going to be tight, except I do think that we see the success on the hitting side in this game. Again, I'm going to go to the boo-boo spot here in the 4-hole, and I'm going to go to your guy, Yordan Alvarez. I like an Alvarez spot for a couple of reasons. One, when he goes up there against Castillo, he's got 9 looks with him. It's a divisional game, so you would expect that. 3 hits, though, so he's hitting at 333. He's got 2 yardstick spots in there with 2 home runs and 5 ribeyes, and behind Tucker, Bregman, and Altuve. Here's the spot with these guys and kind of why I was leaning towards Alvarez. Not just as Alvarez a monster and continues to have success when it comes to getting ball on bat contact, but you know, Altuve, Bregman, and Tucker are all priced up in that like 200 range from an RBI perspective. You know, the books are really kind of tilting their hand here and saying they don't necessarily see those guys finding the success when it comes to kind of knocking runs in. But then if we look down at Alvarez, guess what his number is? It's plus 145. You guys know that. If you've been watching this show long enough, you know that is the sweet spot. So I love me some Alvarez in that 4-hole behind key huge batters in a game that I could see some runs being produced. The rain obviously concerns me, but Two of the three games that are on the kind of docket tonight are games that I expect to be over. This is one of those games that I expect to go over as well. And then if I flip gears and I look on the other side, call me crazy, call me a little what you will, but on Justin Verlander's side, coming up with a double dip here, I'm going to start this thing off with J.P. Crawford. J.P. Crawford's got 23 at-bats. He's got 8 hits, a home run, 1 ribeye. Obviously, Julio Rodriguez behind him, Teoscar Hernandez, Cal Raleigh are all guys that are capable of getting the job done. But I kind of feel like what we've seen as things tighten up and we move deeper into this September run, and we're just around the corner from October and playoff baseball, is that we start to see some of these guys, pitching-wise, kind of leak in that first inning, right? They kind of get that exposure. They kind of get that 1 or 2 jittery pitches out of the way, and then they kind of lock in. And so while the long haul of this game could very much go under, I like a J.P. Crawford opportunity. Maybe he comes right out the gate and goes yardstick. His RBI is plus 280. So it is priced very closer to a yardstick type of opportunity. But with the Alvarez on the left side, on the Houston side, and then Crawford on the Seattle side, you know what? If we just get one of them, we're going to be in the black. If we get them both, it's going to be almost a 4-unit spot. It'll be over a 4-unit day if we can get both of those guys. So I went with Alvarez at plus 145 in the sweet spot, and J.P. Crawford, lefty against Verlander. But again, a lot of success, a lot of looks. In fact, the whole top of that lineup has a lot of looks. I would not be mad at anybody that wanted to go to Hernandez. I looked at that spot as well at plus 145, but I thought to myself, if Verlander does lock in, it's going to be slim pickings all around. So if I'm going to take the risk, I want the reward. J.P. Crawford's my guy in the 1 spot, kind of starting the game off, going to be the first guy that gets the looks at Verlander, and hopefully he gets to him early and we can cash that plus 280.
Bro, plus 280, she ain't a lady. Now, do you know the one thing about Seattle? They have the one dome. It's like a dome. It's an open dome. It's a roof on top. So like the rain comes in sideways there. It's really freaking weird, but it's freaking kind of cool to watch. But
that's why I was kind of looking at the wind direction as the factor there. So those sides are kind of open and exposed, and it'll create a little cross breeze, which should help get a little lift on those balls and give me that opportunity. I don't like to double dip in games too often, but when I do, we've found success with it. So I'm gonna go back to good old
last game though. Before we get in the last game, I do want to touch on. I think it's me and Noli talk about that game. I think it's going to be a super playoff type intense battle, and I think home runs are going to win the game type shit. Mm-hmm. So maybe like Mike does. I know Mike does it. Put a little bit on the home run as well, guys, because if he gets the RBI, he cashes your ticket automatically. If he hits the home run, then you get freaking plus anywhere from 7 to 1,000, depending on that guy. So yeah, it's definitely worth a sprinkle in this type of atmosphere where I think personally home runs are going to win the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think, again, we see that situation where it's like 1 or 2 bad pitches that get exposed, and those are going to be the ones that go deep. We're not going to see I don't think we're going to see a lot of guys landed on base. I think it's going to be a tighter game. But, I'll take a double dip shot at it because, again, with that win factor for me, knowing those ballpark conditions, as much as it could be an under game, I do think that there's going to be a couple of strays that get away. And let's get some cash on them over there. We might as well take advantage. And that brings us to the last game. It's the third game on the card. It's the Padres Giants. I know you fellas are going to talk about this one. I have a feeling I know what the looks are here too, but we've got some wind conditions at Oracle Park that are going kind of straight out across center field at 10 miles an hour. Somewhat of a factor, but my goodness, Logan Webb at home is a machine when it comes to shutting batters down. Then on the other side of things, Blake Snell is on his run right now, probably going to get all kinds of accolades and recognition at the end of the season. But where I had to look here was I had to go to Manny Machado. Just a simple factor that this guy is incredibly resilient. 18 at-bats against Logan Webb, 5 hits, 1 home run, and 2 RBIs. He's only getting a 278, but it's the highest on the card, if you will, when you look at that lineup for, at least the projected lineup for the San Diego Padres side of things. And the other thing that I try to look for here was kind of what's the motivation? Well, if you look at ESPN or you look at any of the other sports blogs that are out there, what they're talking about right now is the misery that loves company inside that dysfunctional clubhouse. That I know Sharpie talked about this a couple months ago with these guys just not wanting to get along. They got too many alphas and they don't have enough guys that are willing to kind of step up and follow those leaders. So they're really struggling. They're definitely getting the wrong type of publicity. But I know from any sports perspective, when I was formerly in the sports business as well, it was a situation where the coach comes in and says, look, There's a lot of noise chirping on around us outside. What can we do now? We can focus on what we do best, and that's play baseball. And nobody plays it at a higher rate than Manny Machado. 18 at-bats, 5 hits, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. And he's also priced at plus 140. So he's right in that sweet spot window that I like to take advantage of. Could be a tighter game. I certainly looked at that San Francisco side pretty detailed and kind of had a struggle coming up with anybody that I really wanted to jump on, because I do feel like this is going to be a first 5 full game type of under situation. But again, with Machado going behind Soto, Tatis, and Kim, I think it's a good spot where one of those guys gets on base, and all we need to do is have him get a little knock there to push us over the finish line and get that RBI. So at plus 140, that's going to complete the card for me. I still was able to kind of dig away here and come up with 4 spots.
Look at you go. Came up for the home team. Appreciate you a bunch. If you haven't already, smash that like button, as most of you haven't. And that's kind of disrespectful, as we do this because we freaking want to give you guys winners, and we do give you guys winners on a consistent basis. So smash that like button as I hit that recap of Ribeyes with Mike and his 4-pack of today. He's going to start with the Texas Rangers, Adolis Garcia at plus 180, and then head on over to a playoff type atmosphere game. And he's going to take Yordan Alvarez in the sweet spot at plus 145, as well as head on over to the other dugout for the fat, juicy lady spot, guys. Plus 280 on JP Crawford. Yeah, 280. Get in where you fit in, and we're going to finish with another sweet spot type day, and we're going to end in San Francisco, but not taking a Giant. We're going to take a Padre at plus 140, and that's Manny motherfucking Machado. If you didn't know that is his middle name, I've looked it up. Appreciate you for tuning in, bro. I know you're going to be on stream tonight, so I'll see you on tonight. Let these people know what you got going on and where they can find you.
Always like to get involved with my guy Sharpie. He supports me, I support him. That's the way it works when you got people that you can trust. And certainly appreciate the opportunity to come on the game here with you and break down this tight card. But again, opportunities out there. You guys can find me on and around Pub Sports Radio. I got things cooking all over the place. Lots of fun getting on some of these live streams. Big Thursday night live stream coming up as well. You guys will know. We'll see our guy Sharpie there. And we're going to continue to try to get that cash. Baseball's still rolling. We got to take advantage of it while we can. And again, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity, Sharpie, and I'll see you soon, my guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
What up, Noli? Shout out to Noli Knows, too.
I said it 4 times. Winning is horseshit.
Man, shout out to my guy, motherfucking Noli. Noli knows. Is he even here, though? Yeah, fuck me. Fuck you.
Okay, you got me.
All right, though. But how you been? How you doing? And let's talk some baseball.
Doing real well, man. Exciting time right now. You got playoff baseball coming around the corner. NFL, great time to be alive as a sports bettor. Shout out to Mike. Great job. Great work.
Great work, except for thinking that was an over and then talking him into how he pretty much said it was going to be an under. But let's talk these 2 games. And this first game up, I'm going to touch on Verlander, let you touch on the game completely, and then I'll get to Castillo prop-wise. Sounds good?
Perfect.
It's going to be good because I'm in charge.
Hey,
it's
your show. Yeah, it's your show.
Hey, Sharpie, you got a show today? No shit. This guy's told me I've had a show today for the last 2 years to be a prick, but that's okay. Friends are pricks and make you laugh. First guy on the board I'm going to talk about is Justin Verlander at the Mariners. He's striking people out at a whopping 21% and only walking people 6.5% on the year. Morning line was 6.5 minus 138 on FanDuel, and the best line available is on DraftKings to that 6.5 at a minus 125. PrizePicks has him at a 6.5, whereas hits allowed under over are at a 5. Projected lineup is 5 lefties, 4 righties. First guy up, guys, is in a playoff type game, and that's the Astros and Mariners. It's Justin Verlander, who has not seen Seattle this year. And where we look back at the Mariners' numbers over the last 15 days versus right-handed pitching, they're not walking. They're middle of the pack in isolated power while striking out 26% of the time. And we know JV was in this division for a long time before he got traded back this year. So let's just go check out some past history. We've got 8 guys in this lineup who've seen him at least 3 at-bats with upwards to 27, combining in 124 at-bats versus Verlander, and they're striking out at a 30% clip. That's nice. I like. So, as well as the Mariners' K percentage with the whiff and chase that they bring into this game, the books know this. So they added on about 50 cents of juice to this prop. As if this was a team not striking out, he would be juiced to a 5.5 or good plus money at his win percentage. This is not considered jumping if I want in on this over, guys, as he has hit this 4 out of his last 10, which normally equates to plus 110. But because of past history and the Mariners' K percentage, we get a lot of juice added on, and that's not a problem. So, lineups pending, guys. I'm going to get in for a full unit, and I will pretty much get the same type of lineup they've been sending out, as this is a must-win game for both of these guys, and I expect lots of home runs. And the only time in his last 10 games that Verlander has had 7 or more, 3 of those games were teams who whiffed. 2 of those teams were whiff and chase contact. They didn't make contact, where one of those was an outlier in the Red Sox. So we do have that chase contact not there in this lineup. We also have a team who whiffs, as well as a team hitting middle of the pack, and good pitching, like my guy told me a long time ago, beats good hitting any day of the week. And this team just ain't hitting. So once lineups come out, I'm going to go through it one by one. I'll tweet out if I do have a bet on Justin Verlander, as it's only one way or nothing for me, and that's over. Let's talk us the Seattle Mariners Houston game.
Oh, so that means me, huh? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's you. Your
All
turn.
right. Man, I missed the cue. I missed it. Sorry. I was only kidding. Anyways, Verlander, you talked about it. You touched a little bit. Hasn't faced Seattle this season. Last year in the playoffs, completely got lit up against this team. Just went 4 innings, 6 earned runs. But mind you, that was the 7th time he had seen Seattle in that season. So I think a lot of changes here in this game, being another playoff type game. But one thing that I look at, Maldonado, he was benched the last 2 games. The guy's hitting under the Mendoza line, hitting, I think, $189. That I think he's definitely playing today. Big reason for it. He knows how to call pitches. I believe they've been studying. I think they're going to be ready to go against this Seattle Mariners team. I'd expect a good start from Verlander. He is a big-time pitcher, although he got hit from them. He got hit last time from them. He bounced back in the playoffs and pitched well in a big Game 5. On the other side, Luis Castillo, I think he's a big-time pitcher, just never really has had the opportunity to do it. Last year, the first time he was able to do it, gets traded over here from Cincinnati and completely goes off. The month of August, September, and October had big-time moments against big-time opponents. He starts off going against a playoff team in the Yankees on back-to-back appearances, going 6 2/3, 3 earned runs, then 8 innings, 0 earned runs. Then against Cleveland, shuts them down twice. Then San Diego shuts them down. Then in the playoffs, goes against this Houston team, 7 innings, 3 earned runs. Then against Toronto, 7 innings, 0 earned runs. So we talk about in that span, a 1.34 ERA, all against playoff type teams. What we're getting here today, I expect Castillo to step up big time here today. You talked about a little bit about the covered stadium that they have. It's more of an umbrella style is what they call it. That's the best way to describe that thing. So we will get a little bit of the weather involved here. The wind will swirl a little bit, but you won't get too much wind. The fact that it's only 63 degrees, high humidity, a little bit of a marine layer. I like the under a lot. I got it at 7.5, a little bit juiced, but I like the under here in this game.
Talking to me nicely. I definitely like the under as well, as I also want to bet me some Luis Castillo, and I have bet me some Luis Castillo as that's the way we got to get down, guys, and let's talk about it. Castillo opened up 5.5 minus 140 on DK, where the best line is on Caesars at 5.5 minus 135. PrizePicks has him at a 6, whereas earned runs allowed under over already 2.5. Now the first question is 5.5 a trap? No, past history, guys, and the K percentage of the Astros. So Castillo's already faced this Astros team 2 times this year. He's already gone 7 innings in both games, yet he's never had more than 5 strikeouts in a game. And we know the key by now with Castillo's K prop, guys, if we go under or over. It's chase contact, whether we do. And this team usually is full of guys other than Maldonado. I mean, but he will be in for JV. That just don't strike out, guys. At the end of the day, they're good at not whiffing as well as making contact when they do chase. Yet the books have dropped Castillo down accordingly due to how the Astros are not striking out at the moment. They're best in the league over the last 15 days, as well as the past history in the projected lineup, where all 9 batters have at least 3 at-bats versus Castillo with upwards of 12, combining in 66 at-bats. They're only striking out 24% of the time. 24% sounds like, oh, that's not too bad. Well, it's actually worse if you look at the lineup construction. And I talk about lineup construction all the time, as the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in a combined 30 at-bats have only struck out 5 times. The one who shits the bed every time, guys, is Maldonado, and he makes that K percentage skyrocket as he struck out 4 of his 7 at-bats versus Luis Castillo. So I get it, guys, why the books dropped his Ks. They had to, as they would have had nothing but under money on a 6.5. And they were keen to that. They're not dumb, guys. They do not ask for one-way ticket money. When they do, we know we got to stay the fuck away. Now, the question is do we really want to fuck around and find out? And I'm going to tell you I do. This, to me, guys, is not a normal everyday baseball game. This is a fucking playoff game. Like my boy was just talking about, the Astros are a half game ahead of them, tied for the other 2 guys with the Seattle Mariners, the half game behind them. And this is who wins this series. If they win 3 in a row, can knock the other person out the playoffs and get in. Whoever wins 2 out of 3 is going to have the front row seat with the last fucking series going into. They have the fucking, this right here is more important than the playoffs, because if you don't win this series, you might not make it to the fucking playoffs, guys. This is do or die baseball. And that's why I want Luis Castillo, guys. If you've ever met a dude who's ever played off of energy, and I talk about home field energy, we talk about it with DeGrom, with Strider, with these guys who strike people out, they feed off of electricity. This place was so loud last year that the pitch comm wasn't working for the other pitcher. He couldn't hear it. They were getting ball called because he couldn't hear it. This place is going to be rocking. This place is going to be loud. 40,000 people screaming at the top of their lungs every time he has 2 strikes for death. And last year in the playoffs, when he faced this team, he went 7 innings with 7 strikeouts. The strikeouts were there in the playoff game, and that's what I'm banking on right here, guys, is this isn't a fucking regular season game. So I've got a half unit on his over 5.5 strikeouts, and I paid minus 137 as it is La Parada Day. And the reason why they paid this man is for days like fucking this. And he shows up. Anything else to add on?
No, I mean, you mentioned it right there. It's going to be electric. Seattle's a big-time baseball team. They love this team. It's going to be a playoff type of atmosphere. And really, Houston just really not hitting right now. A big stat that I did leave out, a big reason why they've been falling off. Since September 11th, hitting just 164 with runners in scoring position. Before that, they were hitting 281, the best in the league. So a big drop-off in that. They just really haven't been coming up clutch. So I think that's a big issue going into today. And playoff atmosphere, bats get gripped a little bit tighter. Good pitching is going to win out today.
Definitely like that. So next game on the board, and don't hit that. My cat has hit the power button on my computer more often than not. This one is so fucking smart with it. Ohtani, I'll break your elbow and give you surgery too. Joking, don't call PETA on me, but what you can do is smash that like button, guys. And I'm going to talk about Blake Snell, and I don't bet on Logan Webb. I'm not saying he's a bad pitcher. He's just a guy I don't bet on. And I'm going to let my boy then spit about the next game. But this is the type of spot on this show, guys, we call the Titty Capper Play of the Day, where 90% of the cappers are saying it's free money, including your favorite Titty Capper. It's a spot on the board where the books are asking for one-way action, and we have to pay attention to it, as the books are billionaires, and us, we are not. And we're talking about Blake Snell at the Giants, striking people out 30% of the time while walking people. 13% of the time. Híjole, chingalo, eh. Morning line was 8+ -125, and you can still get that number 7.5 at -125 on FanDuel. That's where PrizePicks has them, whereas earned runs under over are a 1.5. Projected lineup is 8 righties and 1 lefty. We end our show today talking this prop side, and before Noli gets in on the other side and talks what action he has in this game. But we end the day with what seems like some fat man titties, guys. Is why the fuck is Blake Snell at 7.5 at -125? I mean, he's only hit that in 8 of his last 10 games, which sure as fuck don't equate to the juice being put at that. And we know the book's taken past history over a team's overall K percentage. And we have a team in the Giants who are striking out to lefties 25% of the time over the last 200 plate appearances, as well as a career K percentage in this lineup of 32% in 103 combined bats. So yeah, let's just drop the juice way down on a prop no one will look to bet the under on. Nah. Sharpie, don't play that, guys. If this wasn't a pair of titties, then I don't know what is, guys. As the same situation with Verlander, a team striking out with a career K percentage in that lineup of 30% or more, they added 50 cents on. But they dropped Snell's juice. If it looks like a duck, guys, and it quacked like a duck, it's a fucking duck, guys. So I got to go look at Snell's other props. His earned runs are right. His outs are right. No, I mean, his earned runs are right and his walks are right. His outs, nah. It's at a very bettable 17.5 -120. And he's hit that, guys, 8 of his last 10 games and in 8 straight games. No. This does not add up to me, guys. And if it don't add up, we could only do one thing, and that's either fade it or leave it alone. And when I go look at Blake Snell this year, he's had 12 games where he did not make it to the 6-inning mark. And they're telling me he ain't going 6 innings. And he is 3-9 to the over 7.5 strikeouts in this game. So you do what you want to do. I'm not going to bet this under. My rule is either you fade it or let it go. I think he gets 7 and has a tough time getting 8. Maybe he does hit that 8 on the last batter. But at the end of the day, I can't fuck around and find out. When the books are asking for one-way traffic, I can't do it. So I'm going to leave it be on the K-prop side. And the past history is enough for me not to bet that under, bro. Like, he's striking them out 32% of the time. This team's striking out already 25% of the time. He's hit this 8 of his last 10. How does he not hit this? I don't know. The books fucking know, and I'm not going to be that jackass who donates money when something doesn't fucking make sense. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Like DJ Quick said, guys, he wasn't lying. So that's my theory on that, and I'm sticking to it. What you got on this game, my boy?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's another big-time game as far as Blake Snell for him and his Cy Young candidacy. I think he is scheduled to maybe make one more start after this, but it depending on how well he goes today, I think this might be it. It's kind of crazy to see. Leads the league in walks, 10th in WHIP, but no one's within a half run of his ERA. He's got the best batting average against, best slugging against. It's huge. He's had a huge year, and it's honestly not that big of a surprise. A few years back, he was the leader for the AL Cy Young and then got hurt towards the end of the year, missed the last couple months, but he even says, I should have won that. But here, I think this is a big game, especially when you look at a report that I read that came out today. The San Diego Padres have no plans to re-sign him, neither him nor Hader. So how does that affect him going into today? He wants that Cy Young big time, and I think he's going to have success. I mean, I don't know, reading into those lines that you're mentioning, but I look at what he's done against these San Francisco Giants. He's been pretty much dominant. Over the last 2 seasons, a 0.62 ERA, 104 at-bats, only 16 hits. That's a 154 batting average. 41 strikeouts and 104 at-bats. Like, that's insane. Like, he's been completely dominant against this team, and a team that's not hitting over the last 7 games, just batting 197, averaging 3.5 runs per game, just really struggling right now. And I think they continue to struggle against Blake Snell. How deep he goes, that I don't know. On the other side, Webb, I can understand why you don't like him as far as a strikeout pitcher, but he's a big ground ball pitcher, which huge, especially when we talk about this stadium. He loves being at home. 2.37 ERA at home as opposed to 4.31 on the road. Big difference there. Hasn't faced San Diego this season, but you go back to last year, 0.83 ERA against them in 3 games started, only 21.2 innings pitched, so an average of 7 innings per in that span. And I understand you look at some of the numbers with San Diego over the last 7, they look pretty good, but they put up 12 last time out. So I think those numbers are a bit inflated by some of those games. They got shut down by Peter Lambert, Chase Anderson again in Colorado. So against Colorado, So a team that's still not really hitting the cover off the ball. I think they struggle against Webb here. You got a day at 67 degrees, high humidity, 11.4 miles per hour out to left, but really doesn't matter when we talk about this stadium. The wind will swirl. It will not go directly out ever in whatever direction it's going. So I want to see wind, and I love the high humidity here in this type of environment. The ball, I don't expect to travel. It's a 7 here, but I still like the under here quite a bit.
Definitely, definitely. So you ain't gonna see me bet no Blake Snell, even though I want to, and everything in my gut tells me to, but the books are telling me not to. What I did bet is Castillo over 5.5 strikeouts at -137 for a half unit, and I'm going to be looking at betting Verlander's over for a full unit as well. As Merrill Kelly already decided to take money from my family today, I still will play these spots when the spots tell me to fucking play them. They need to show up and do their work. I expect both these guys to show up today, and we'll want to have money on them as well. Appreciate you guys all for showing up, guys. Noli, let them know where they can find you and what you got going on. Or don't. Just do it muted. Do it muted. That's fine.
It's probably better, I don't know. You can find me at Noli Knows on Twitter. Been posting a little bit more frequently. You catch me there, and you'll be seeing me a lot more around.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. Call you later.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir. I'm going to run through the chat, see if we got any best bets, and then we going to call it a day. And we got a lot of people in the chat. Looks like Truth Taylor going off today. What up, though, JPZ? Appreciate you. Justin is in here with his best bet of the day is Mixon over 54.5 rush yards. Let's get to the damn money. A lot of people talking Yankees game, and that's crazy that they've got bases loaded, no outs. They probably scored, but who knows, right? Nilo's like, Noli? No way. He's back. Yeah, appreciate you for popping in, Tone. Smash the like button if you guys haven't. And it is looking like, what do we got here? Not everybody dropping no best bet, so it's looking like I'm Sharpie's Bets. Today, guys, was a super small card, so we brought in a lot of people. Packed the show for you. We do have a bet on Castillo's over, and we're looking to get on Verlander's over as well. Smash that like on your way out. I'm Sharpie's Bets. This show is sponsored by PrizePicks. If you haven't, go on over there and use that promo code PUBSPORTS. You're going to get a match deposit on your first deposit of $100, minimum of 25. Yes, sir. So, appreciate you guys for tuning in. I will be on the Pub Sports Radio live NFL live bet stream. That's what it's called. Yeah, fuck. I've streamed like 30 hours, it seems, the last 2 days. So I'm not all there in the head. We need to make some money. So let's get to the damn money, guys. Appreciate Mike M. Pimp Slap Play of the Day for jumping in on a Monday, as well as Noli Knows for jumping in here as well. Appreciate my producer even more as he put up with my bullshit for 162 games a year. Guys, we're getting to the end of the baseball season, so let's make it good while it lasted.
Keep firing, assholes!